Okay, so we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. So, in a real run, time would start a little bit later because this dialogue we kind of consider it like a cutscene for a normal run. So if you imagine like a Sands of Time or Two Thrones run, there's a cutscene at the start. And normally time doesn't start during the cutscene, it starts afterwards. The same with this dialogue normally, but for a race it's easier to start before that. So this is level 1. We'll see quite a few levels. And this game has incredibly potato controls. Like that's the main thing I can say already. Basically, I'm just spamming my mouse input absolutely constantly. And so the way the controls work is that to run, we hold the stylus in the direction we want to go. To roll, we double tap, and to jump, we press once. But it's really awkward because the game gets confused between whether we should run, jump or roll, and so on.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the few DS games that actually use a full touch control, and that's kind of not that common. Like it very rarely uses buttons.
Yeah, so we will use one button in this run apart from our stylus. And we will see that maybe 20 minutes into the run or so.
Yeah.
And from there, we will be using it constantly. Yes, this is the same prince as 2K8. So this is a sequel that takes place after Epilogue. However, it doesn't so much continue the story of 2K8. It's more like the 2K8 prince just kind of happens to go on another adventure.
Yeah.
So this is a first life upgrade. This is the only life upgrade that we're gonna collect, just because we literally have to collect it to proceed. The other ones we're not gonna collect because that would be slow, although it would be very nice to have extra health. Coming up is the first kind of big trick. See here, I'm gonna go down, and then boop, and he grabs that ledge. That was a long fall grab. We'll see that quite a few times in this run. Basically, the way falling works in this game is that if you fall from a high place, the prince literally keeps on falling until he hits something. So there's no timeout or anything. The prince will just keep falling forever until he hits some ground. Yeah, go on, Snake.
So is there like some sort of a fall damage? So if you didn't grab that ledge, would you die?
Yeah, so if I fell on flat ground, there would be normal fall damage. So if you fall kind of a little bit, there's no fall damage. If you fall a bit more, then you take a 1 bar of health of damage. And if you fall even more, you die. However, with grabbing the ledge, you just don't take fall damage. So you can literally fall from 100 meters and grab a ledge with your hands, and you're just fine.
The things that we can use to cancel fall damage in this game are like grabbing a ledge, grabbing a swing pole, or some of the powers that we will see much later in the run, but we will show that when we get to it, I guess.
Also, I want to ask, since I see you're running on emulator, so how fine are the controls in comparison to console? Because I know you ran this on console as well. So is there like input delay due to emulator or stuff like that? Does it just like feel like does it feel better? Or does it feel worse? Or does it feel the same in comparison to actual console?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the emulator we're using is Desmium, which is quite accurate to the real Nintendo DS. It's quite good at emulating the exact thing, including the emulator lag. So actually, you'll notice this game is very laggy. That's not our PCs that are laggy. It's the game itself. Sorry, it's the emulator. The emulator is emulating the lag. In theory, there can then be more lag on top of that if your PC can't handle the emulator. But at least the lag aspect, for the most part, is accurate to what you would see on the real console. And just in general, the behavior of the game, as far as we know, the emulator emulates perfectly. So it basically is like the console version. But I guess the main difference is in the actual controls. Obviously, on console, you would use a stylus, whereas on PC, we're using a mouse. And so that's kind of the main difference. For the most part, that's the same. You point and click. Obviously, it feels a little bit different, but I've tried both, and for me, they both feel similar. You might notice occasionally when I'm, for example, running right. So you'll see this in just a second. You can see my cursor on the screen, hopefully. But if I'm running right, sometimes I take my cursor off the screen altogether. And you may protest. Oh, by the way, first ceiling clip coming up right here. This one was found by Eraser, of all people. Surprisingly. Anyway, we'll talk about the ceiling clip in a moment again. There'll be plenty of opportunities to talk about that. But I was saying that sometimes you see me drag the cursor off the screen altogether like this. So now you just can't see it at all, and you may protest and say, well, on real hardware, that's not possible. You can't just drag the stylus off the screen. So you could say we're gaining an unfair advantage. But actually, I've played on the real console, and there is something equivalent to dragging your cursor off the screen to basically take it as far to the left or as far to the right as possible. There's something equivalent on the real console, and that is just pushing your stylus as far to the right or as far to the left as possible, and the screen has a border, and the stylus kind of bumps into the border of the screen. And so if you want to go as far to the left or as far to the right as possible, on PC, that's easy. You just drag your cursor off the screen. And on console, it's also easy because you just drag your stylus as far to the right and it bumps into the border of the screen. And so in that aspect, it's different, but also both feel kind of similar. But in any case, also for this game, we have separate categories for the console and emulator boards. And so even if there is any feasible unfair advantage, it's not, you're technically on a different category anyway. So, you're not really,
losing anything basically.
Yeah.
So I can kind of talk about how the right edge thing works in terms of the input itself. So even if you move the pointer to the right edge of the screen, the emulator considers that as the rightmost edge that is on the screen. Like there are no like inputs away from the screen or something like that. Which
Yeah.
is like there are some flash games I know which which actually take input outside the actual game borders, but in this moment that's not a thing. Like it just considers the input to be on the edge if your cursor is outside.
So technique I just used there, I clicked on those heavy boulders because when you click on an interactable object, such as an enemy or a boulder, the prince kind of jumps to that object really, really quickly. That's good because we move quickly. The problem with those boulders was you can't break them with a normal attack. You can only break them with a heavy attack. So I blocked just before I got to the boulder to cancel my normal attack. Also some movement here. Nice. So yeah, I blocked my normal attack just before I got to the boulder, and then proceeded to do a heavy attack, because the heavy attack doesn't carry you as much forward, so better to do a normal attack first. Ceiling clip coming up here. I'll do it first and then we can explain it afterwards. Nice, first try. That one's a bit tricky, actually. That's certainly one of the harder ceiling clips. So I'm happy I got that first try. Here we're going to bump into this saw blade to fall down quicker. So this run actually does have some skips, as we've seen already. The ceiling clip is the biggest one we're going to see. But I guess we can talk about how the ceiling clip works. So you'll see here in just a moment when this saw blade comes down, I go here and then I press up to wall run up. So if I'm standing near a ledge, I press in the direction to jump over it. And you can kind of see clearly here, I'm pressing left, right on a wall to kind of jump between it. If I want to wall run up, once I go to a wall, I press up. Or more specifically, I just make an input with the stylus above the prince. And what you can do is, once you start the wall run, it kind of just continues until either the animation finishes or until you bump into some collision.
If you are familiar with 2K8, then this is basically helicopter clipping, but with a single jump.
Okay, that explains a little bit more to me. The person who has only ran epilogue when it comes to whole 2K8 universe.
Next.
I assume this is the boss fight now.
It is a boss fight, and we're going to do some nice sequence breaking. So there are supposed to be 4 phases. I'll explain the corner clip later. We'll come back to that. There's supposed to be 4 phases. We're going to knock him down now. Each phase is supposed to be 1 skull of health. But what we're going to do is we're going to do half a skull, and then a power attack to do a full skull, and then another half a skull. And like that, we skipped 1 phase by doing 2 phases in one go. By basically doing a power attack when the game expected a normal attack.
Good stuff.
And then we do the same thing for the next 2 phases. And that's the boss. So normally that would be about twice as long, if not more. So I was explaining how wall running works. So again, once you get to a wall, you kind of press up above the prince, and he wall runs up. And then you can press in a direction away from the wall to jump off the wall. But the point is, and this is a very important detail, that the jump, if you do jump from a wall run, the jump only occurs after the wall run has fully finished. Oh, that was very close. I nearly died there. So the jump only occurs once the wall run has fully finished. Unless you jump before you do a wall run in the first place. Then, so you can either jump before doing a wall run or after fully finishing the animation. There's no in between. Now, if you wall run into a ceiling, nothing interesting happens. You just bump into the ceiling. However, if you buffer a jump away from the wall before you hit the ceiling, then that wall run just continues, no matter what, even if there's collision. You keep wall running and then you jump. and you get through collision. So we've seen one example of that so far. We'll see plenty of other examples in this run. That's certainly the biggest glitch that we'll be abusing. In fact,
I thought the biggest glitch is the replay rock glitch.
I guess. But also it's hard to even say whether that's a glitch or not. So we can see another example here. Okay, so I'm failing here. I'm trying to buffer a wall run and a jump successively extremely quickly, and so I did another ceiling clip there. And you have to be really, really fast. You do a wall run and you have to, within frames, buffer a jump.
Yeah,
And if you buffer a jump quickly enough,
that one is literally frame perfect, I think, in terms of input. Like this game, like the emulator runs at 60 FPS, but I mean not exactly 60, but kind of 60.
it's more like 59.8 or whatever.
Yeah, but it accepts inputs only every other frame, and there is only one frame window where it accepts where the ceiling clip would work.
So another ceiling clip there, that one is really easy. So
Yeah,
some of them you can just kind of mash and it just works. It depends on your height. If the height lines up nicely, then you just sort of mash and it just works. But with some of the other ones, you have to time it really precisely. And there are some other ones still where you kind of have to wall run, then you get a sort of air step, you turn around again, and then do some frame perfect inputs. We don't do those ones. Those are tests only. We only do the ones that are kind of reasonable to do for a human. Or I should say they're segmented only. I think it's possible to do for a human, just not in a full game run.
Yeah, not in an RTA setting. So is there a task of this game, and like how much is it like faster than actual record?
we would like to not say the numbers in the interest of not getting depressed today.
Okay. Then
yeah, there is a TAS. So GMP has made a TAS. So I guess I'm kind of the main RTA runner of this game, and GMP found lots of the strats and did the TAS as well. So by the way, we can come back to that, but real quick, we've got our first encounter with Zhao. This is basically our companion that we're going to see throughout the run. And once we get this companion, we can unlock some magic abilities. For example, we can shoot these magic balls to, in this case, unlock the door. And coming up now is the most annoying enemy in the game. That's literally his name, because you have to do this. You have to just keep shooting him, knock him back by very, very minor amounts, and then just pray that he doesn't hit you. Okay, he hit me, but I already got up, so it's okay. Trust me, that enemy is hard.
So is it basically just like the archers in T2T, but in this game?
Yeah, with that enemy at least, certainly. It's very, very tricky. Because you're kind of climbing up, and then he hits you as you're climbing up, and then you fall all the way back down, and then he walks closer again, and it's horrible. But anyway, I'm happy I got past that. We literally call him the most annoying enemy in the game because there's no better name.
It's a good name. Just like how in T2T there is a skip called Dumbass Fence Skip. And then to ask, I assume there are some SOT enjoyers in the chat, so I'm gonna ask a spicy question of, are there any coconut trees in this game? Not as in the skip, but just like, are there like any in the background?
Yeah,
there may very well be. There may very well be. I don't think we ever do any coconut tree skips though.
Or is just the presence of a coconut tree will satisfy many people?
I think you can kind of see in my screen there is actually two in
Oh
my
wait,
background.
yes. It's close.
I think there'll be a lot in World 4.
Yeah, that is kind of the forest biome.
Yeah.
Matt, are you doing the barrier skip in 2-4?
No.
Okay. I guess when I get there, I can explain that.
Yeah. I don't think I'm doing any of the barrier skips.
Really?
So, yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
just finding them difficult. But I'm sure I'll learn them eventually, but just for this marathon, I didn't learn them. So you can explain those when we get there.
Be careful though, your cat might learn that barrier skip before you do. So for all those who don't know, Smad did like a 2K8 NG Plus run a few weeks ago, I believe, and he put his cat in front of the cam, and then basically the whole stream, well actually not the whole stream, but like I would say like a good chunk of it was just the cat being kind of the priority on the camera. And then Smad clipped a part of the run with the cat on the camera and the barrier skip and just said, the first cat to ever do the barrier skip in 2K8.
Indeed. He's certainly the best cat player in the world. It's kind of crazy how we've got the best human player and the best cat player in the same household.
Very surprising.
Yeah, so that's actually something very interesting that someone pointed out in chat. From the perspective of the viewer, this race is quite nice because you can see on the minimap at the top exactly where we are. So you can see exactly who's ahead. That's kind of neat. Unless eventually, of course, if one of us will be in a different level, then I guess you won't know. But also, depending on how many levels apart we are, you might still have a rough idea.
I'm kind of surprised you are still in 2-3, honestly.
I'm
Because
just finishing 2-3.
like my 2-3 was quite horrible at the start.
I did a run of another practice run at like 4 a.m. or like 3 a.m. and finished it at 6. So I'm feeling a bit better now. Unfortunately, once again, I didn't get to sleep very much because of that, but at least I slept for 3 hours since yesterday. So that's something. I didn't stay up all night this time, though. So here, GMP will do a barrier skip. I'm not doing it because I suck. But basically, see that barrier around. Well, you don't see it anymore, but there was a barrier to the left and another one to the right of the fight, which was preventing me from leaving.
So the point of those barrier skips is basically to skip fights then, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not possible to do a barrier skip with every fight. You can kind of see on the left and on the right. Again, they just disappeared, but there were barriers.
I assume we'll see more of those throughout the run, because there are plenty of fights.
Indeed, we've got some coconut trees in the background.
Oh, there it is.
I think there are like 4 or 5 barrier skips run at least. It's not that frequent, but it's still quite good if I'm able to get it.
Basically, if an enemy spawns near that barrier, then you can get knocked past the barrier as the enemy spawns if you stand in the correct position at the correct time. But it's quite tight.
So it's kind of an enemy clip, in a way.
So
Basically
you
is,
might see
yeah.
it on my screen like in like 15 seconds from now. So let's see.
But normally, if there's a barrier, you just have to do the entire fight until all the enemies are gone.
Yeah, I just got it.
Nice.
Good stuff. Also, I heard the sound of a can opening.
Yeah, I'm an addict
To what, coffee?
to soft drinks, Coke.
Oh. I thought it was coffee, because you and GMP love to talk about coffee all day.
I think GMP is the coffee addict.
Yeah, I just had coffee.
Pretty sure
Yeah.
you mentioned that.
I'm not very big on coffee, but GMP, I think, is quite notoriously
Oh yeah.
a coffee addict.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure his Discord status is just a coffee emoji.
currently I think it's a light emoji or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like a few days ago.
Yeah.
So another ceiling clip here. This one's quite easy as well, although I had to stop for a second because I forgot the setup and I had to read my notes. But that's quite nice as well. It skips quite a bit. So again, same thing. We do a wall run and then we buffer a jump before we hit the ceiling, and then the wall run and jump just continues. That's why when we clipped through the ceiling, you kind of saw we jumped back afterwards.
So let me check how many levels are there in the World 2. 10 levels?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. So there are 6 worlds. We've done the first world already. This is world 2. We're currently on level 2.5, or I am. I think GMP is still on 2.4.
Yeah.
So there are kind of in the area of 6 to 10 levels per world, or except world 6, which only has 3. So that kind of gives you an idea of how far along in the run we are. You just saw there, I just kind of ran past the second trap there. And even here, I just kind of rolled past it. With those traps, most of the time, we don't actually want to take them seriously. We want to just roll past them, and generally that gives us damage, but also we can just run past it, and so it's fast. Kind of like side rolling in Warrior Within. You can just go past all the traps, but you still take damage.
Yeah, you do get staggered, but you can cancel the stagger by doing another roll.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not exactly like side rolling in Warrior Within, because I think in Warrior Within you probably don't get staggered in the first place.
Yeah.
But here you get staggered, but if you roll, you cancel the stagger.
And there are a few
But
iframes after you get damaged like that. And during that time, you can literally run past traps. So that's really helpful.
yeah, exactly. And you basically, once you get damaged, you just ignore everything that damages you for a few seconds. Which means we can run through all the traps, just completely ignoring them. Oh no. Okay. That was almost bad. I have to focus for this fight here. Because there's a sequence break.
So now you're basically finding someone who looks like your companion, but he's evil.
What? Okay, I have no idea how I survived that. I just had the block of stone fall on my head, and I didn't die.
I think you are standing on the left edge of the stone.
I guess on the right edge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Like, it doesn't have collision all the way through.
But I think I took damage. I'm not sure though. Anyway, I have no idea. Okay, I mean, if I'm alive, I'm alive. I'll take it.
I felt like half of Prince's model was out, so it could be that it just didn't hit you because of the hitbox.
I got the cycle skip in 2-5. That's really nice.
Nice.
GMP is cooking.
So this level we've already been in before, but basically our companion Zhao got kidnapped and he turned evil or something. I don't know. I don't know the lore of this game. And we had to go rescue him and make him not evil again. And in doing so, we gained a new power. So we once again see the most annoying enemy in the game, but because we have this new power now, we don't have to be so annoyed by him anymore. Because we can just do that. We call that eating. We eat the enemy.
Yeah.
And that's if there's a latch, if there's one of those latches, we just prefer to kill enemies with that because it's faster.
Yep. That's really handy for sure.
And then we go back to the level where we came from.
Okay.
Oh, so there are also revisits.
Yes. So in every world, apart from... So in worlds 2, 3, and 4 anyway. Oh, crap. I died. Okay. The controls in this game are very tricky, so I kind of held forward there to run. But in order to jump, you have to stop holding forward and press the stylus once again. And I just never stopped holding it, so I just fell off. Sorry, what was... Snake said there are revisits. Yes, so in every world except World 1 and World 6, we will have revisits. So there are a few levels that we have to complete twice, but generally, the second time around, you kind of go to a different area of the level, so it's a bit different. But then also, in some of the later levels, we will have some skips, most notably ceiling clips, to come back to the same area where we complete the level the same way as the first time, which is a bit faster. Our companion is just some random character who's not in 2K8 and has nothing to do with 2K8, as far as I know. And in general, the story is basically, after epilogue, the prince just encounters some kind of fallen king or whatever, and he just helps him rescue the kingdom or something. As you can see, I'm not very familiar with the story.
Yeah, this is kind of a side story. So
yeah.
you don't have to care too much about it.
But there are some references to Elika. So most notably, I remember there's a bit of dialogue where Zhao laughs at the prince and he says, "You're doing all of this for a girl?" Referring to Elika.
So you're not the lore expert when it comes to this game?
Unfortunately not. I think GMP is more of a lore expert because I think when GMP did the tasks, he read every single dialogue. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I guess, yeah. But like there is one key detail about the lore that is interesting, but I will mention that when the time comes, I guess.
Cool. And you can see some fantastic cycles in this game, by the way. I just had to wait absolutely forever for this cycle because with each iteration, we get through like maybe 10% of the cycle there. And so it's kind of dumb. We have to wait forever.
I think I got the cycle skip again.
Nice. I'm not going for that because for me it's too risky.
Yeah. It's nice that you showed some ceiling clips that I can't do, I guess. And I'm showing some stuff, minor stuff.
Yeah. I think we talked in the channel a few days ago, and both of us kind of
Don't agree on what is viable, I guess.
disagreed on what strats we would do.
Yeah.
But not so much. Maybe disagree is in some sense the wrong word because we don't really disagree on what strats are good. We just disagree on whether we'll do them or not.
Yeah.
The same puzzle, but twice in one level. It was probably not the same, but it's probably very similar. Oh, come on.
I think I am in the annoying cycle now.
Yep. I think one very entertaining thing is what you said when you have two runners and then one runner doesn't go for like one strat but the other runner does, and then the other way around. Just like, yeah, what you are doing, how US-Man are going for some ceiling clips and GMP is going for barrier skips.
Yeah.
The race is very interesting.
To be honest, to some extent, we're just going for the strats that we're more familiar with. At the end of the day, I think the strats we're doing will probably cancel out, but also that a lot of these don't save that much time. The ones that save a lot of time, both of us are going for. I think the disagreement comes from the strats where you save maybe 5 seconds, and in that case, basically,
I guess
the way I guess we're approaching it.
We can use an old meme here. We disagree on strats that save 7 seconds but lose many seconds.
Yeah. Basically, if we're familiar with a strat, we're going for it. If we're not, then we're not, and we're familiar with different strats. I think to a large extent that's, so for example, the barrier skip GMP did earlier, GMP also found that barrier skip, and so naturally he's already practiced that a lot because he had to find it in the first place. Whereas for me, for the sake of this marathon run and derusting, it wasn't worth spending maybe 10 minutes learning a new trick that saves 5 seconds when I know that there's so much more time to save in the grand scheme of things just by being careful about the movement.
Technically, I know the input for every skip, but I'm just shit at executing them.
So I think we haven't talked about how to use Zhao's magic. So normally I'm just kind of pressing the stylus to guide the prince. But if I want to use Zhao's powers, then I press any button. So on the Nintendo DS, it would be any button. In our case, with the emulator, it's the space bar. At least we use the space bar because it's nice. It's a nice and big button.
Yeah, I don't even know which DS button my spacebar is mapped to, but it works,
I
so
think
I
it's
don't care.
I think it's B, but I couldn't actually tell you where the B button is on the DS. Although I could pull out my DS from the drawer and find out. But in any case, even in the actual game, the game literally tells you can press any button and it works.
Yeah. Very
I know
interesting controls for sure.
Yeah, so when you hold the space bar, you control Zhao's powers, and when you don't, you control the prince, basically. So just casually get hit in the head by a boulder that's bigger than the prince. No big deal.
Love to see it.
So there I ate one enemy and I killed the other one normally while the other one was being eaten. Eating the enemies is nice and fast, but also you can only eat one enemy at a time, so...
It's generally not good to eat the last enemy of a wave because it takes a while to digest him.
Yes. But in practice, I don't think we're well versed enough in this game to know which one is the last enemy.
Yeah, I kind of just do whatever feels like.
Yeah. It's a very minor difference anyway.
Yeah,
This game is quite punishing. So, for example, see those boulders that are falling? If I get hit, I die, and that's it. I go all the way back to the checkpoint. There's no rewind or anything like that. There's another DS game, Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands DS, where you've got a rewind ability, so it's a bit easier if you make a minor mistake like that. But with this game, there are so many things that are extremely punishing and send you way back.
yeah.
So it's a very difficult run, not even because of any speedrunning skips necessarily, but just because of even the casual strats.
For some reason, the levels that end with 7 are quite quite notorious. Like 2-7, 3-7, 4-7, 5-7,
Bounce
and
level 7.
yeah, I was about to say,
If you know, you know.
yeah.
Shoutouts to all like 5 versions of TFS that exist.
I think there are more. I think there are like 7. DMP would probably know more about that. So there's the PC version, there's the Wii version, DS, PSP, Flash, mobile. That's
There are
6 already.
there are 2 flashes actually.
Okay, so 7.
Yeah, and if we count all the versions of mobile as different, then there are even more actually.
That's a lot of versions.
Like there was a comment in my TFS mobile run that said like they had some section that was missing in my run and they were surprised because there are like different versions of the mobile.
A ceiling clip coming up. This one doesn't save too much time, but this one is easy, so I'm going for it. You just kind of mash inputs for that one, and your height just happens to be correct, so that if you mash inputs, it just sort of works. I think I'm gonna miss a cycle here now. I'm gonna wait just to be safe. You can get this early, but I don't want to risk it because if I die, I go all the way back. And I kind of messed up my movement.
Yeah, the 2-8 checkpoint is quite notorious. Like that's a
Yeah,
very,
this
very good
one.
section.
Yeah, you've got like 2 or 3 minutes of going through traps, and if you get hit by any of them, basically, not these ones here, but the ones that are kind of above death planes, you die and you have to start all over again. So this one is very known to cause several minutes of time loss in a run.
It's kind of evil to put traps on falling tile section. Do you go to the left side first or right side into it?
Left side first.
Okay, I think I am going to go for the right side first, and I might do the barrier skip. That one is
Oh, sorry, I nearly got hit by the last trap.
Love your reaction to it.
I think GMP is gonna do a barrier skip right here.
yeah, I will try. It's quite difficult, but hope I can provide some content.
Easy. So in the chat said Pop Run stand all TFS versus Anthology. Maybe we should do that. Organize a few runners and like a runner gets to do a few versions of TFS.
I mean, how many marathons like that can we do? Like yesterday, we said Bopop marathon. We can do a Sans Trilogy marathon.
Well, Sans Trilogy happens very often. I mean,
Yeah,
Eve
I
is
guess.
going to do Sans Trilogy, like, I think right after this one or like run after. I'm not sure. I don't have the schedule out like right in front of me.
Yeah, I had a brain freeze, but going right side first paid off, I guess, because I hate the traps there.
So the reason why these... Oh, by the way, be careful not to die here. The reason why these trap sections are so difficult is because when you're running on those tiles and you have to jump... Well, that's not the only reason, but one reason. When you jump... So from this tile here that I'm going to now, for example, I kind of have to jump to the next tile. But the problem is, to jump, I have to let go of my running and click an input to the right to jump right. But the problem
Nice.
is that's the same as... Oh, did you get the barrier skip?
Yeah,
Nice, well done.
I'm actually quite happy about that because this is the funniest barrier skip in the game.
Any actually other Flash games besides like the 2 TFS ones you mentioned?
There is also the Pop Special Edition.
Alright. I might check those out because I have this weird tradition of just like when I'm bored, I'll just like play some random Flash games I find on the internet. So I guess I'll add those two to my list.
So there are two Forgotten Sands Flash games and one special edition, which is basically like I won't say it's like exactly Pop One, but it uses Pop One graphics, like the Mac version of Pop One, and it's like a 2 minutes run. Basically.
Alright.
I will finish my comment about traps in just a second, but first, something interesting is happening here. So I'm gonna shoot this door lock to get the door unlocked, and then I'm gonna die. And for some reason, this is the only one in the game that behaves this way. If you die, it stays open. You can kind of see on the mini map. I've still got 2 green locks done. What I was saying about the traps is that even here, for example, as I'm jumping between these two, to jump, you press an input to the right, or if I'm jumping right. The problem is, to roll is also the same input. And so what can happen is if you press the input slightly too early, then instead of jumping, he rolls and he just rolls off the edge and you die and you lose potentially minutes. And then it can be tricky, especially in cases where you're kind of standing, not... If you're far away from an edge and you run up to it and you need to jump, that's quite easy. Likewise, if you're standing right on the edge and you need to jump, that's quite easy. You just press one input. The tricky business is somewhere in between, when you're not really far enough where you would need to run, because if you just run, you'll also just run off the edge. That's not going to work. But it gets tricky when you're not quite far enough where you would need to run, but at the same time, one input will make you roll. So you kind of... The way you have to deal with those is you start running for like a couple frames, and then you stop and jump. But if you press anything a tiny bit wrong, if you're a few frames off, you'll just fall off. It's very potato, to be honest. Second boss fight. This one's not very interesting, to be honest. You just fight him.
Casual business.
Yeah, I don't think there will be any more boss fights that are technical. I like when he falls off randomly from moving platforms.
Yeah, so all inputs are on the Nintendo DS. All inputs are via the stylus, except there's also one button that you can press. So you can press any button and it does the same thing. And while you're holding that button, you can use Zhao's powers. And then you do the inputs with the stylus as well. But yeah, in emulator, we just use the mouse instead of the stylus, and it's the same thing.
Okay, that was still weird, but at least I didn't die this time.
Are you on 2.9?
Yeah.
It seems like a rather slow boss fight.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to speed things up. There are things we can do to slow it down, like that. Please jump. Okay, I just missed a cycle there.
Oh no.
That's fine. I'll wait for the next one. 30-second time loss. It gives GMP some room to catch up.
Damn, that's brutal.
I'm not expecting to catch up for the rest of the race basically. Like calling this a race is kind of a stretch. It's more like a mutual emotional support.
That's I would say something similar about yesterday's Sands of Time race with me and Yaka. Okay, so I'm in World 3 now. 3 of 6. We've got a new power. We call this one TK, which is a bit of a misnomer. TK, we named it. This isn't official. But TK stands for telekinesis. which it's maybe not the best name, but that's what we're rolling with. So basically, it's not. If you kind of imagine telekinesis, you grab an object. Here, we're not grabbing an object. We're kind of grabbing ourselves.
Yeah.
And going to this blob, whatever it is. Anyway, the name might not be the best, but that's what we're calling it, so that's what we'll roll with.
Here comes a very interesting question from Vin for the run they're gonna do is, what order should they do it in? They're gonna do SOT first, then Warrior Within, then T2T, or T2T and then Warrior Within after SOT.
I think chronological order makes for a good showcase generally.
I think that would make sense for a marathon, but if that makes things difficult, then it's not a big deal.
So logistically, like drifting categories can be quite notorious. So if most difficult run is done first, then I would understand that.
I died. You have to be very fast, otherwise that enemy gets you. I died again. To be honest, I don't fully understand this one. Sometimes I just die. But this is an example of where, like, I'm just kind of dying. And there's another example. And it's not very clear exactly what I'm doing wrong. And this game is absolutely full of things like that. Where I'm dying not so much because I'm messing something up, but it's because the controls are so bad and it's so poorly designed. And it's the same with those trap sections I talked about earlier. The reason you have to worry about, how many frames you're holding the input or whatever, you shouldn't really have to worry about that. If the game had good controls, you would just play it. You would just jump. But because it doesn't have good controls, you kind of have to worry that you're accidentally gonna do something you didn't intend to do.
You two finished. Actually, no, Spat, you're not done with the level yet. I just saw dialogue and assume that's the end of it. But GMP also just finished the boss fight. So you're about to be on the same level, except Spat, you seem to be pretty much on the end of the level.
Yeah, so we're gonna be on the same level for about. Or I guess we never. I think I looked and we were never on the same level. We were both on the loading screen at the same.
Yep.
Nice.
So a really cool trick that GMP found recently. Here, what we're gonna do is we get damaged, and when we get damaged, we just run past this enemy because we get a few seconds of iframes. And turns out you can just run past the enemy when that happens.
Yeah. The funny thing is, the task takes the damage as well, but I kill the enemy, so task is officially outdated because of that.
Yeah, but that's kind of bound to happen. You're never gonna develop objective strats that will never be broken again.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a ceiling clip right here. I've ended up deciding to not go for it because it's very precise and it barely saves any time. I was initially going for it just because it's not risky. If you fail it, you just try it again. but I ended up losing time more often than not, so I just stopped going for it. So these red diamonds or whatever they are that turn green when we shoot them to open the door. The nice thing about them is we can shoot them even if they're off screen. There is a limit.
Are those from TFS DS?
What the diamond thing is?
Yeah.
Well, there is that texture in TFSDS as well. But something interesting about a difference between this game and TFSDS is in TFSDS things deload way earlier, so things don't even come off the screen and they're already despawning or deloading rather. Their textures deload, but sometimes the whole entity altogether just deloads. So it's quite comfy that in this game things don't just immediately deload when they get near the edge of the screen. But at the same time, I think that's probably one of the reasons why there's so much lag. So you'll notice the game is pretty much always quite laggy.
I guess the more apt way to put that would be that's why TFS DS doesn't have lag, because
Yeah,
in
not as much
theory,
anyway.
it's possible to develop a game
By
on
the way,
this
Strad here, I just
without
fall
lag.
and then I save myself there by doing a TK. So we call that a long fall TK.
Yeah. So are you in 3-5 already?
No, I'm in 3-3.
There is
No, it's late. So what happened there was I tried to jump and he just didn't jump because I don't know, my stylus position was slightly off or something, and he just hung off the ledge. Oh, actually, the reason why he didn't jump was because I'd just gotten damaged, and for the first few frames of after getting damaged, I guess you just can't jump, and so he just walked off the edge like an idiot. This section is very difficult. There are so many traps, but luckily, the ceiling clip here is easy, but I don't remember how to do it because I need to check my notes. What level is this? 3-3. Okay, I'm doing it wrong.
standing jump
and mash.
Yeah, stand and mash.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, got it. So it's easy, but we have different setups for different clips. Once you know what setup you have to do, it's very trivial. But that's certainly not the case for all ceiling clips. Some are really easy. Some are just absolutely free, as we'll see later. And some are borderline impossible, especially for RTA.
Good that I keep the notes open.
I mean, I just do runs with notes anyway. I think it's good practice. I think there's probably a certain point where you've grinded long enough that you don't need notes. Also, depends on the run, of course. But I find that for most speed runs, there tends to be something noteworthy that helps when you're, not in a grinding phase for a speed run. So yesterday in Sands of Time, I had in my notes where I should kill how many enemies. for example, because that's something that I might forget. It's very trivial to just write a note for that.
By the way, Math, before entering 3-5, try to mash before entering the level. It might skip a dialogue.
Right, but I don't know where to mash, but I'll try.
Like on the level enter thingy, like the green bubble or something. Like it's not. It's after the cutscene, so you will be able to see the.
Okay,
green.
I'll try. This guy we want to knock just far enough back so that when we attack him and he blows up, he destroys the floor there. But if we knock him too far, then when we attack him and he blows up, we also fall through the floor. Also, when the floor gets destroyed, the collision is still there for about another 1 to 2 seconds, and then all of a sudden it disappears. And so, again, it's another one of those cases where the game is just poorly developed. Where, you destroy something and it still stays for a screen, and then it all of a sudden disappears, and then you die if you don't know that that's going to happen. Yeah, I think there are some things that are reasonable to keep in notes, and others you should just memorize. But there are some, for some speedruns, there are some details that are almost admin in a sense. So in 2K8, another one could be what combos you use for each fight. And you get to the fight, you just look it up. Okay, now you know how to do the fight. But for other things where you kind of have to react quickly and do it very quickly, you should just memorize it, because notes might not be sufficient. But also, when you run enough, you just don't need notes anymore at a certain point.
True. I feel they're like very useful for stuff like completionist categories and stuff like that, where you really have to collect a lot of stuff, like let's say an AC category or 100% category in sense of time because of the same clouds.
Yeah, exactly. So something else that people do is they write down how many collectibles they're supposed to have. So I know, for example, a Nuki, the runner who did 2K8 on MG a couple days ago, on his split file, he displays how many light seeds he's supposed to have at the end of the split, and then you know if you're missing some.
I got
so
the.
that can help.
I got the funny roll travel.
Ah, nice. So we've got some new types of enemies. We've got a shield guy, and we've also got this other red guy. Let's talk about the shield guy first. We use Zhao's magic to take away the shield, and then we kill him with 4 hits. This guy, the other guy, we can't hit him directly. We have to wait for him to hit us, block, and then attack afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we pretty much are on the same level right now. Talking about being on the same levels.
Yeah, this level is quite long, so not that surprising.
I assume you have your mechanical keyboard plugged in, Smat, because I can hear the buttons sometimes.
The spacebar would be quite loud. Yeah, I do have my mechanical keyboard.
Okay, I'll join you.
Loud switches, yeah. I do like my mechanical keyboard. It is very loud, though.
Yeah, it's comfier than my old keyboard, which was like a 10-year-old keyboard, but, it is loud. Nintendo DS isn't loud enough, so we had to use mechanical keyboards to give people the real pop experience.
Oh yeah, if you do like keyboard sounds, then check Venue's run afterwards. I think you'll hear quite a lot of those.
I hope to see the mouse cam. That's pretty good. For zipping at least.
Thing is, I probably like for streaming at least, I probably could put on the noise gate, but I just feel it's funnier to have the keyboard sound.
Hello? Yeah, I guess I will.
So this is another level where Zhao will get kidnapped, and then we'll have to backtrack to one of the previous levels.
Did you get the dialogue skip?
No. At least I don't think so. But I kind of forgot to focus on that, to be honest.
Like if you got the dialogue in the map, then you didn't get it basically.
Right.
So it's time for 3-2-2.
Okay, so now we're gonna get. Generally, when we backtrack, we get a new power, so you can kind of see Zhao is using that new power already, and then we're gonna get to control these fireballs now. But first, he's turned evil or something, so we have to fight him, and then he's gonna stop being evil. You can see the fireball there.
So you have your body basically just destroying everything. You also there also are 2 ceiling clips in this level. The looks of it.
I just messed up big time.
Yes, there are 2 ceiling clips in this level, but I'm only gonna go for one of them.
Alrighty.
And we can talk about that in just a second. And I can control the fireball now. So this level I've already done before, and that one of those ceiling clips I already said. Oh, hang on, this is. Hang on, what's my setup here?
Stand mash.
Stand mash, thank you.
Or no, hang mash.
Oh, well, rip. Okay. Rip.
I read that wrong.
No worries. I'll just continue the other way. What you can do is if you clip through there, you can go back to the kind of the same way where we were the first time we came to this level, but it's not much slower to go this way as well. And this would be the other ceiling clip, and we've already talked about this one because it's in the same level. I guess I can try to go for it just to show it off, but it's quite tricky. Okay, nice, I got it.
Nice. Yeah, the notes are saying that is the precise one.
Yeah. So now we can use the fireballs to kill the enemies faster. And also we can use the fireballs to destroy these floors. We don't have to wait for those exploding enemies anymore. Okay, and now we go back to the level where Zhao got kidnapped. which would be 352.
Yeah.
Something I didn't mention last time in this level is we just fall there and then TK like that. So there are quite a few of these skips where you just kind of, oh no, I missed a cycle. Ah, that's annoying. I have to do all of that again.
Wouldn't be a pop game without tricky cycles.
That one's not even tricky. I just messed up. Okay. But yeah, there are quite a few of these sections where it looks like you should go somewhere, but then we have a strat where you just basically fall what looks like a fall to death. Okay, so what happened there? With that enemy, you saw I was kind of trying to hit him, but my second attack wasn't landing. And you can tell by the noise that it's not landing. And that's because I was slightly too far for the second attack to land. Normally, if you're too far, the prince just runs to the enemy. Hang on, there's a long 40k here. Like that. Normally, if you're too far, the prince runs to the enemy and then attacks. But there's one particular distance that's kind of not too far, but also not too close, where the prince doesn't run to the enemy, but also doesn't quite reach the enemy. And that can be really annoying. Whereas in TFSDS, it's the other way around. It's like there is one particular distance where you can reach the enemy and everywhere else you can't. And it's awful. So the combat in this game is bad, at least controls-wise, but it's nothing compared to TFSDS, which is just awful.
Lovely.
Here we're stuck on a cycle, so we just have to wait. I think TAS actually does this without waiting, but we are humans. We can't do that. Okay.
TAS can also move the exploding balls in one frame without worrying about collision, which we can't really do.
TAS is kind of crazy. See how I'm being all careful here with this fireball. TAS does everything in one frame.
Those fireballs are intricate.
Actually, one thing that dawned on me is, has anyone tried to skip those parts where your companion gets kidnapped and can you just proceed to the end of the level normally and finish it and just progress just fine?
I don't really see it. It doesn't really seem feasible to me because you just kind of walk and he just kind of gets kidnapped. The best we can do is when we get back to the same level where we were last time, and the game makes us take a different path. In some levels we do a ceiling clip to come back to the original path, and then we do it a bit faster. But aside from that, I don't think there's. I can't think of a mechanically feasible way in which we could skip anything else there.
Yeah.
Okay, this level I'll have 3 long fall TKs all on the right side. We'll have first, and second. Notes to self. And once we get there, I can explain what all of that meant as well.
I kind of have an idea, but I'll wait and see.
Okay, so here we drop down, and then we TK to the right like that. And then forget that there's a spike, so die and have to do that again. Normally you're supposed to grind down slowly, but if we know where the last blob is that we can TK to, then we can just do it. There's another one here where you really just have to know it.
Oh, that seems like a tight one.
It's if you know it, it's easy. There is another tight one much later in the run that I'm not gonna go for, that Tass goes for, because it's actually really tight. But that one, you just kind of mash the button and you just get it. But if you don't have it, let's say, explicitly written down in your notes, it's very easy to forget that one altogether. And most of these even, because with these long fall strats, you kind of have to go out of your way to do something that looks like will kill you. And another long fall TK here. This time I will grab the second one on the right. So that's number 1 and number 2. And that's the last long fall TK strat in this level. Coming up is loop skip. You're supposed to do like a loop around this whole area to press that button. Turns out we can grab a fireball that's just off the screen and just press it that way. You can see the game kind of turns the camera to the right because the game doesn't want us to do that, but actually we can still grab it off screen anyway. That saves quite a lot of time, loop skip. And off to level 3-7. This level has a few cool strats. So first, some more fireball movement. Cass does this extremely quickly, because again, as GMP said, you can move these fireballs in 1 frame, and if you move it in 1 frame, it doesn't even react to collision. But that's very much a non-viable strat for a human.
Yeah.
That's really ridiculous, because you can just, like, 1 frame through it just ignores collision, like, entirely.
Yeah, and so not only do you save time with fast movement, but you can actually use alternative strats, because you kind of don't have to follow the path that the game wants you to take. You can just take it straight to the final destination, basically.
And you can kill, destroy 2 stones and stuff like that instead of just 1.
Okay, so coming up is some cool platforming. We're going to need to get down to the bottom of this ship. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go left, even though the game wants us to go right. Just drop here, then jump to this column, grind to the bottom, and then jump again. And then long fall grab, like that. Because again, you don't take damage when you grab a ledge. And there's no threshold for how much you can fall and still grab a ledge. You can just fall 100 meters and grab it anyway. There are 4 enemies I have to kill here. In theory, I don't have to kill them. Because we can move the boulder that's coming before killing them, or as you're killing them, but that's very difficult. So for RTA, I think it's better to just kill the enemies first. These boulders are... Oh, there's one more enemy I forgot. Okay. These boulders, we use Zhao's powers to move them. The problem is they're supposed to be heavy, and so we can only move them very slowly. I'll show you what happens if I try to move it too fast. See, it just doesn't work. So we have to move them slowly. They can be quite annoying.
The game doesn't want you to go fast.
No, it doesn't. Sometimes it feels like the game doesn't want me to complete it at all. In fact, I'm quite sure no one at Ubisoft has done that, because if they did, I don't know how you could explain everything.
Yeah, there is basically no QA testing done for this game.
So a very cool skip coming up, or not really skip, but just very fast optimal movement. I'm gonna grab this fireball as I'm falling, then TK, grab it again, and then destroy that door. And the reason why that's so tricky, or a couple reasons, obviously, you have to not die, but also you wanna... That fireball, if you hold it for too long, it just expires. It just blows up in the air. And we're kind of right at the limit there. We break that door. If I went for another second or two, it would have exploded. So it's quite tight there.
Nice.
It's very satisfying to do, if you get it correctly.
So GMP, right now I'm not sure which level you are. I'm trying to follow. You're on 4...
3-6.
3-6, yeah.
I'm doing loop skip. That's Matt mentioned 3 years ago.
Oh yeah. So you're on 3-6 and Smat is on 3-8.
Yeah.
So funnily enough, with loop skip, so just a bit of backstory for this game. The first ever runs for this game were a blind race between me and Curly, although I was the only participant who finished. So it was kind of a casual playthrough, but trying to go fast. And I actually found loop skip, at least if I remember correctly. I found loop skip accidentally. I thought that that's just what you're supposed to do. And then in the next run, I got to the same point, and I didn't find the same thing. Oh, by the way, real quick, ceiling clip here. You literally just jump and he clips through the ceiling. Nice. What was I saying? Right, the next run, I got to the same loop place, and I didn't see the second time around that I can just skip it. So I ended up doing the loop. And then I was like, hang on, I don't remember this from the first run.
You actually know that Curly was there. I thought the first run was just like you trying to do like just like a speedrun.
No, Curly found this game.
Just like, yo, there's a 2K82. Here you go.
Yeah. Curly was just looking up what other Prince of Persia games we could play. And he's like, what's the Fallen King? And then he downloads an emulator and tries it. I was like, do you want to do a blind race? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And then the blind race took...
I just fell through the floor. I guess. Wow.
Damn.
Nice
okay.
Nice content.
Sure.
That was interesting.
Why would we need floors anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is quite buggy. I've definitely in both this game and TFSDS flaws just sometimes disappear. I would say even more so in TFSDS.
Yeah, it makes sense because that game messes with loading more, I guess.
Floors are an illusion.
But yeah, the first run I ever did was 10 hours long, or 9 hours and 52 minutes to be more precise. It was the blind run.
Love to see it. Really long speedruns.
Cool ceiling clip coming up here. This one is very easy. You just mash inputs and he clips through the ceiling. Saves a little bit of time. And then here we can shoot through this collision, but I use a setup to make it work. There are quite a few places where we can shoot through collision. In fact, we did it in the previous level, and I forgot to mention. Maybe we can point it out when GMP gets there. Level 3-8.
Yeah.
Ah, crap.
The Floor trilogy.
I'm glad my run is being useful for some amount of minimal entertainment.
All you need in pop is fun and then just spawns a bunch of memes.
Yeah.
Here we use that fireball to destroy the floor. You can shoot through the collision here as well, but I find it quite difficult, so I'm just gonna do it normally.
I'm surprised we are lacking the rubbing memes today.
Yeah, occasionally Zhao gets dizzy or something, I don't know, and we have to rub him. I did it about 1 to 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, I did it just now as well.
You can shoot through the door here, but I find it quite difficult. I'll try it a couple times, but if I don't get it, I'll just do it normally.
I just got HP, but game decided to not give it for some reason. And oh,
Nice.
quiet. Wait,
Okay,
wait.
I'll try once more. Yeah, okay. You can shoot through the collision there. Normally in a run, I wouldn't even go for that, but in a marathon, I wanted to show it off. But I didn't get it. Nice. So that was an example where I was pressing an input to jump, but he was still rolling, and it didn't register, so I just fell off.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly like what happened, like probably on a few occasions, like you're taking damage being unable to jump. And just, trying to go over like an animation, but you can't do anything because animation doesn't finish.
Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, it's the same with the exploding floors. You know, when the floor explodes, you've got like 2 seconds where the floor is kind of still interactable, and then it all of a sudden disappears, which is just very bad design.
I just shot the gem through the collision here. Like there is just no collision here for some reason. But it's very handy
Beautiful.
because it's like a really, really annoying section otherwise.
Oh, Smack, you're also trying to shoot that thing, so are you just attempting to do it quickly, or like, what were you trying to do there?
So you literally just have to repeatedly TK and then get one shot in. TK, get one shot in. TK, get one shot in. There's no faster way to do that. Even Tess does exactly the same thing.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And time for another boss fight.
Another boss fight.
That's a lot of skulls.
I think this one will have 4 phases. First, we just dodge him a bit. There's nothing really super interesting. And then, I don't know, he wags his tail and we pull his tail down.
This boss is
That was
actually
phase 1.
kind of fun to do because you can use those exploding balls to damage him.
Yeah.
It's kind of satisfying in a weird way.
That's interesting design because I love how he jumps in the air, then like freezes for a second, and then falls.
Yeah, that's partly just due to lag as well. Because as we mentioned, the console is very laggy. I mean, it has 4 megabytes of RAM. That's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. When did Nintendo DS even come out?
Like 2005,
Early
I think.
mid 2000s?
Yeah.
Yeah, to 2004. 4 megabytes of RAM. That's
Like those
like
were the times when it was not that uncommon. Like the GameCube has 16 megabytes, and that thing runs T2T and stuff. So yeah, not that surprising.
gaming has 16? I don't
Yeah,
have
That's
more.
crazy.
and I think
PS1
yeah, the PS2 has 24 or something. That's it.
No, that doesn't. I think PS1 has 128 and then PS2 has 256.
Really?
Yeah. PSP has 32 megabytes
No,
and came
no.
out in the same year as DS.
I'm pretty sure PS3 has only 256.
That's true, actually. Yeah, I think it's actually PS1 has 64 and then PS2 has 128. Now, let me
Megabytes?
double check that. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, never mind. PS1 has 2 megabytes.
Nice.
2 megabytes, and that thing could ran a lot of solid things for the time with that. And then PS2 has 32. Okay. I thought it was way more for some reason.
Yeah, the DS hardware is actually not that horrible. It's just this game that is kind of bad.
Yeah, the optimization is very poor. In general, I would say the programming is very poor in this game. TFS is a bit better in most ways. In some ways, it's a bit worse. But it's still bad. It's still awful.
Oh, my God.
Ah! Oh no, I'm gonna die. How far back do I go? I have to do the fight again.
So GMP assume you're also trying to shoot through the collision there, but...
Yeah, I tried that as well, but I didn't get it.
Not that difficult actually.
Oh, I died again. Those things, no, it really feels like they're out to get you.
Yeah, just like how... What's like the name of the enemy that's like really aggressive in Pop 1? Like what does the community call him?
Roberto.
Yeah. Roberto is like the name for like every like mean enemy or something like that in the Pop games.
Okay, I guess I will just stop.
Roberto.
Roberto.
I like how every game has characters that the speedrunning community gave names. No, I'm gonna... Can I stop? I've died here like 5 times. In practice, I never died. I don't want to say that's never happened before, because it definitely has, but not recently.
Pop runs 10. Can I stop dying?
I was about to make a Pop Run stand joke as well.
Okay, there we go.
Pop runs 10. Can we stop playing this, please? Or Pop runs 10. Can we stop submitting this? Should be more appropriate.
Okay, nice. I actually got that barrier skip. So you saw I kind of clipped through the barrier.
Are you in 4-1?
Yeah, 4-1.
Yeah, that one is like literally you just run through, like no setup.
Yeah, but last time I tried it, it didn't work.
Really?
Yeah, so which is why I was saying I'm not going for it, but I just tried it again and it worked. I think it's because I killed the enemy with my sword instead of eating him.
Okay.
And I think that's what I did different, because I can't think of anything else that was different. This is Pop 1, by the way.
Isn't there like a remake of Pop 1? Like, is it like Pop Classic or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That hasn't happened within a reasonable amount of time to say never. Essentially, say never. Vel is giving me PTSD from yesterday with those numbers, except this time it's the other way around. So here we're on a cycle, waiting for the platform to come back. And there's nothing we can do to make this any faster. Even in tasks, we have to wait. So it's not a problem if we don't do perfectly optimal movement here, as long as we don't miss the cycle. If we do miss the cycle, that's awful, because this one's like 30 seconds or something. Oh my god, go down. I might actually miss it now. I think I should still get it. Yeah, I just about got it. You can see how much time that would have cost me by how slowly this platform is moving.
Yeah, I think it's easily like 25 to 30 seconds for sure.
Yeah. Especially because the game is so laggy in this section.
Yeah. I like how this boss just falls on top of Prince and Zan. Like they didn't bother to move the characters or something during the cutscene.
One thing I noticed is that like when like frame timing some stuff for T2T is there's so many like end of cutscenes where Prince just does something very weird on like the last frame, or like the cutscene ends for the first frame. After the cutscene, the prince is not there, and then he appears and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's so funny because it happens like every single unskippable cutscene.
Like, it's not common for games to move the characters like a puppet during a cutscene, but like being actually able to see it is quite bad design, honestly.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. I haven't watched like that many games like to that extent, but like in T2T, it seems to be like happening all the time.
Yeah, so to answer the question in chat, I think someone already answered it correctly. But yes, there are emulators that don't emulate the lag, but we want it to emulate the lag to be accurate to the original console. If you're playing the game casually, feel free to do whatever, but for a speedrun, we want to be as accurate to the original hardware as possible.
Yeah, and I heard Nintendo emulation is really good for the most part. Cough, cough, can say the same for PlayStation and Xbox. I feel sad for all the people who want to run Epilogue but don't have the means.
Epilogue is actually quite reasonable on emulator right now. But
Yeah, I guess RPCS3 is getting like really good, but it's a bit like it took like 15 years to get to that stage.
yeah, I'm getting destroyed here.
Oh, same spot as Matt.
Oh, nice. Yeah, just try to YOLO it, I guess. Okay. Actually, this time the cycles seem synchronized correctly, which is why I was able to.
Ceiling clip here. This one's easy. Oh, nice, and I moved it too fast and it just dropped on my head. Luckily, the prince can evidently withstand a boulder that's like 2 meters in diameter, just landing directly on his head. And he just goes, ow, and then continues about his day.
Isn't that basically the start of 2K8? He falls down from like a huge height, rock drops on his head, and he just goes about his day.
Yeah, but in 2K8 it's a much smaller rock. I think in 2K8, if I remember correctly, it's actually a reasonable rock to have fall on your head and go ow, and then get on with your day. But for example, in the Sands of Time prison, a rock falls on his back, and it's just like, you're not surviving that.
Yeah, on a real human, like it will
Yeah.
definitely break the spinal cord into two,
Yeah.
and that is
That's
like
a
a
massive rock.
that's like a guaranteed death, basically. Like even
4-3. There's a ceiling clip. Stand no wall run. Okay. Boop, boop. Nice ceiling clip there.
I love how we're coming to the point where we're questioning the lore.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, at the start of 2K8, when a rock falls on his head, it's actually like a small pebble, like maybe a couple centimeters. That's quite reasonable. If a rock that's a couple centimeters in size, or maybe like 5 centimeters, fell on my head, I would probably go ow, be really annoyed by it, and then indeed move on with my day. That seems quite reasonable.
Yeah.
But not those giant ones that we see in prison or this game.
Or just straight up a boulder.
it's just absolute. That boulder probably weighs a few tons and falls directly on his head, and he's just like, "Ow!"
I think they even copied the same sound effect from 2K8. That's really fun.
I feel like a lot of
Oh,
2D games made for consoles like that, where they have to just kind of weak consoles like DS and stuff like that, and then you would just have in those platformers, because I definitely saw that like that on a lot of 2D platforms, such unrealistic things like a huge boulder, character simply stepping on a spike trap and just simply says ouch and just goes on about his day. It's so funny.
shout outs to Warrior Within, where you can fall like 100 meters and actually heal.
I mean, if you zip in a specific way, you just jump all the way up. You fall for uh, uh well, a few seconds and nothing happens.
I think in Warrior Within, there's also an NMG way to fall 100 meters and heal.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the cutscene where the Dahaka throws you down.
Or the
Um,
or the cutscene drops that we do.
Oh yeah, cutscene drops as well.
what
Like,
you don't heal from those, do you?
yeah, we don't heal, but we
Yeah.
You
survive that.
survived it?
Yeah.
This level is really annoying. I hate it. It's just a lot of really slow platforming, and you have to. We're gonna have to come back to this place again, and there's a cycle, and if you miss the cycle, you lose like 30 seconds, maybe even a minute. It's ridiculous.
That's actually insane.
So we're like swapping places with Zal and stuff, and controlling him separately. It's kind of cool. Like a lot of these sections are unironically cool, and I think this game is good in the sense that the art is cool, the level design is cool, but just the controls are so poorly implemented that it really takes away from the whole experience. For example, with Zhao, when I click, and he starts moving 1 second later. Why? Why is that a thing? Why can't he just move straight away? Or look, why is that boulder not being destroyed right now? It's just things like that, and it's absolutely all over the place.
Yeah, I think art style is really good and looks nice for basically what they have at their disposal to work with, because
Yeah,
as we mentioned numerous times, DS is not a powerful console. So I think it still looks very, very nice. They're really creative in that sense. But yeah, the game does feel jank.
Nice. Right to
yeah.
hear.
The art style and the level design is great, but it's really for me the controls that ruin it.
Sure, is it because they try too hard to appeal to the controls of DS, so they couldn't work with something better or something like that?
But I think even for a DS, I mean, TFS DS does much better. It's still bad, but significantly better. So I think even with that in mind, they really didn't do a good job
Yeah.
of making the controls reasonable. So things like how I mentioned this quite a few times already. When the floor blows up, and then the collision still exists for a few seconds, that's just poor programming. There's no other way to say that.
Oh yeah, in that case for sure.
I think all three DS of games are like basically objectively bad.
Cool strat here. We merge with Zhao, and then the second we merge with him, or come back with him to meet him and gain his powers again, we do a TK to save ourselves from dying from that fall. Very cool strat there.
Cool does.
This is the final boss. Also, I like how this cutscene is 3D, but you can still see the 2D environment, and it just doesn't look good. But whatever.
Okay, we will see that boss again in, I assume, hour 10 to hour 15.
Hopefully earlier.
Hopefully. And to add on top of that, someone in the chat says, nearly 2 hours in and the runners are still seemingly sane. Stark contrast to the Warrior Within run. I hope at hour 3 we are not going to turn into Irish travelers and just go on like a huge rant and start doing video call-outs.
I mean, we might look insane, but like we are actually playing this game, so I guess that explains a lot of things.
Yes.
No. Okay. But I'm gonna miss the cycle now. Oh no, it wouldn't have lined up anyway. You can see. This game is so bad.
Sometimes you just have to take a death to like make the cycle synchronized or something. It's quite
Yeah, no. We're just gonna wait here. I'm gonna eat my cold food. Can I make that? Nope. I can't. He grabbed the pole.
Cycles in this game are something.
the fact that I know exactly where you are is kind of depressing. Like there are some poles under the moving platforms, and the poles have like insane auto target, like
Yeah.
TFS level auto target, we can say, and that is quite annoying.
And the same thing happened to me in, well, I guess today's run, because I did it at 3 a.m. today. Okay. We're going to level 4-5 now.
I'm surprised I'm still only one level behind you.
Oh, I saw like your live split, and turns out it was the slipping Smatlack speedrun, because you were on PB pace up until like the very end or something like that.
Wait, you saw my live split?
Pretty sure I posted it like earlier.
Oh, from the previous run. I thought you said you can see my live split from this run. I was like,
no,
how?
you posted it at 7 a.m. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, that run could have been PB, but whatever. It was really bad.
I think this run is quite TV based, right?
The run I'm on now, I'm 4.5 minutes behind my. Well, this isn't really my PB. This is my PB from the last week. My actual PB is about another minute faster than that. So I'm about 5.5 minutes behind world record.
Okay.
And at the moment, at least, I'm looking to finish maybe 10 minutes underestimate, but who knows what can happen.
So you're looking at about 3:15.
Yeah, my best possible time at the moment is 3:10, but that's likely going to go up.
Yeah, of course. Actually, when it comes to important lore, did we actually mention 404's neck yesterday during my NGMP's D2T race? Or
I
should
don't
we
think
talk?
so.
Okay, then who shall explain the 404's neck?
I think you can explain it because you are the snake.
That you are the snack, and that's why we hired you as a commentator.
Yeah.
I mean, GMP has the snack profile picture.
Oh yeah, he does, doesn't he? Although on
Yeah.
Twitch he's Carl.
Yeah. But anyway, the story is if you open your browser and simply write discord.com/404, you will get the good old 404 error page. And on there, I think there's like a lot of Easter eggs. I haven't really explored them, but one of them is if you pressed on like a snake, it will just read to a simple like good old Nokia snake minigame, except it's like just kind of Discord having their own thing. And for some reason, the snake in that minigame, like the profile picture, if you're on the Discord, you can see GMP's profile picture. That exact same picture of Snack is always in the top right corner, and to all of us, that same picture of Snack just looks so funny for some reason. I can't explain why, but it just looks funny. And it just kind of been a meme in our group, I'd say.
Yeah.
So this level, you might have noticed that I'm doing it again. Again, it's one of the backtrack levels. Normally there's a different route you take on the second go, but I did a ceiling clip to come back to the original route because it's faster. Also, you might notice that the sound quality isn't the best. Like when the music is playing, it's a bit. You can hear a lot of noise in the music, and that's not really so much the emulator. Maybe to some extent it's the emulator, but on the original console, the sound also doesn't sound great. Nice, I got a barrier skip here.
Are you in 452?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have to wait like 2 minutes for this to line up.
Is it really that long?
It's pretty close, I think, actually.
Like, damn.
Like, I know I can't go now. Like, I just have to stand here.
This cycle is just rootless.
This
You could
might
even
work.
call it.
GMP is stuck on that cycle.
This might be the equivalent of long unskippable cutscenes where we just usually go and take a pee break. We like to do that in SOT and T2T. Not sure about Warrior Within though.
Yeah, I mean, I just started eating when I was waiting for that cycle.
You came prepared.
And to be fair, I wasn't done eating. You might have noticed when the run just started, or when the stream started, I was eating, and I just never finished.
Yeah, I assume that.
I'll continue when I finish the run. Luckily, I got just enough fuel in to finish the run, so I'll survive.
Okay. 2 hours in, we're still sane, and we're not hungry. That's also a good thing.
I'm definitely hungry, but I'll survive.
I'll just go grab a snack and a drink of some sort.
Ah. Oh my god. These things, the elastic corruption, they're terrible.
Yeah.
You'll notice if you played the game yourself, it's surprisingly difficult to make the elastic corruption freeze.
There is a section called Freeze Corruption Boss Fight, which is actually just a platforming section but you have to freeze like 2, 3 freezing things, and like you have to be quick as well, but it can sometimes not work, and that's really annoying. I would like to know who came up with the sound, like the sound effect of Zal getting kidnapped. Like it's quite saddest. Like not saddest as in it's sad low voice, but like it's just sad that this is what they could pull us.
We have to rub Zao here. And then here, nice little skip coming up. Well, if I can do this. Corruption. We only need to freeze the left one here, and then we wall run and TK. And that's the end of 452. Okay, we're entering level 4-6. What do my notes say? Ceiling clip, stand, no wall run. Got it. Okay, so these enemies are quite interesting. We want to get hit on purpose because then they get into the position where we can freeze them faster. Otherwise, we would have to dodge and they'd do like 2 or 3 attacks. But if we get hit, then we can force them to go down to the floor straight away. But obviously, we can only do that if we can afford to take damage. So if we're low on health, we have to do the slower way, which is to dodge them. So with these enemies, we have to be careful to watch our health. So here it's basically impossible to make this door the first time round. We just have to do it twice. Tass does it the first time, but RTA, it's nonsense. Here we're supposed to swap with Zal to freeze those traps, but we can just roll through them. We take some damage, but that's okay.
I think we should stop mentioning the tasks in the interest of not getting depressed. Like the task is going to finish the run in 16 minutes. That's crazy. And
Nuts.
we are like one or like 2 words behind.
Okay, so very nice strat here. I'm supposed to do some platforming to the right with Zhao. Whoops. But I just do a ceiling clip here. And the very nice thing about that is that by doing this, we skipped a trigger that would have loaded a bunch of traps here as well. So we saved time and skipped a trigger that loaded traps, which means it's safer. And if we don't load the traps, I don't know this, but I would assume the game is less laggy without the traps. So it's just very nice. And the ceiling clip is completely free as well. You just jump. Oh, crap. Can I make that? I don't want to risk that. I'm sure I can make it. Nice. Okay. I guess we'll do all of that again. Just another example of... You know, I definitely made that, but because this game is poorly made, I died anyway.
Fun.
I'm bad at keeping track of levels, so where are you both at right now?
I'm in level 4-6.
I'm in 4-5-2, so one level behind Smack.
Okay.
Oh? Has the gap closed a little bit?
So we're kind of about even. Like from once we fell apart, we were kind of even from that point on.
One level, but can't say how many minutes exactly. I'm not knowledgeable about this game enough.
I started this level 5 minutes ago,
Okay.
so I don't know how far GMP is into finishing his level.
I guess the level's just long.
Yeah.
So we're at least 5 minutes apart.
I'm at freeze corruption boss fight.
Uh-huh.
Oh, see? That's why it's called a boss fight. Just doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah.
Well made.
Indeed.
Okay, finally.
No! So what happened there was I was holding an input to the right because I needed to run to the right. But because I only ran a very short distance, I stopped. Oh, lovely. Because hello? Move? What is he doing? Why am I stuck? I'm soft locked.
What the hell?
He's just not moving.
Oh, did you get the sword thing? Like, you can roll, I think. If I.
No, I can't do anything.
Okay.
What in the world?
I mean, I can re-enter the level, but then I have to do it again. Can I? Yeah, I can.
Like, is there a way to die or something?
No, I literally can't move. I have to re-enter the level.
Wow. I guess at least the start button is working.
Damn, that's huge.
It's okay. The estimate is quite lenient, precisely for such reasons.
Yeah, I guess random soft log just happens and you have to redo the whole level.
That's actually never happened before. But I was saying before
I
that,
get the
because
soft
I
log as well.
died. I was holding an input to the right because I needed to run right, but I only needed to run a bit. And so I held it only for a bit, and that actually registered as a jump. And then similar to how in 2K8, if you buffer a jump from a vine, he just kind of does the jump. Even if you're quite far away, he kind of shimmies along the vine really fast and then does the wall run. And so here, if you're like half a meter away from the edge and you buffer a jump, he's gonna do the jump, and you basically there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Oh yeah, you and GMP are now on the same level.
Yeah. Well, I kind of soft locked, so.
Shoutouts to Pop Serious and Fun, I guess.
I think I'm still slightly ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 30 to 40 seconds. Which is kind of nothing at this stage.
I'm hoping to see a tight race.
I'm hoping that
So-
we will survive and be in good mental health.
Well, evidently I could not survive this level.
Don't worry, you'll get it this time.
So I don't really know what happened. I just sort of jumped and I landed and took damage, and then I just couldn't move for some reason.
That is just awful.
And to be fair, I've never made a mistake there. I've never landed in that particular place before. So I don't know if it's very plausible that if you do that, that's just going to happen consistently. I would say the reason we're still sane is because we already know that this game is awful. we expected it. I think we very much braced ourselves for things like that before this run.
By the way, Smath, there is a 1 minute and 30-second offset between my IGT and real time because I'm using cosine audio.
Because, oh, very interesting.
So I guess I'm technically ahead of you, like in terms of IGT.
Huh. What's your IGT now?
217.40. 9.
Interesting. Perhaps the IGT wasn't stupid after all.
Yeah, but I'm also using like the softerizer renderer because the game looks slightly better and I wanted it for the showcase. But in the interest,
In games is great, unless it just isn't sometimes.
maybe I should have used low settings in the interest of estimate. But let's see.
MP, I don't know if I asked you this, but has anyone done the runs of like the TFS Flash games?
Not really.
Okay.
At least I haven't done. Sure. Okay. I died early, at least.
When we finish this level, we'll compare our split times, and then we'll know who's ahead. In game time.
Also, live split use IGT.
Yeah. The in-game time we use with live split is basically calculated based on how many frames have passed in the emulator. So you can see on both of our screens in the top left, there's like a number that's constantly going up. That's how many frames have passed since we started up the game. And the in-game time is basically that number divided by the frame rate, which is 59.8 or whatever.
Right. You were
Okay.
using RTA, but I assume I see the difference now because GMP has about 5,000 frames more.
Well, that we could have just started the emulator at a different time because that's when we started the game and not when we started the run. So that doesn't really.
Yeah.
Okay, that explains it. Because I was like sure that you used RTA.
So by the way, my 4.6 time was 2:21:55.
Yeah, I think you were still a bit ahead then
Okay.
because I fucked up this level once. But
So
not a
yesterday,
big fuck up.
or today rather, that boulder landed on that button and then it just didn't press the button. So I was
Nice.
just like, okay, I guess.
Operance
The
10.
boulder,
Okay, I
the
guess.
the boulder wasn't heavy enough.
But if I can press it.
I guess the whole thing is the boulder actually isn't a boulder; it's actually fake.
Please. Okay.
It looks like a boulder, but it's very light, so that's why when it actually fell in Prince, it was just a simple ouch.
Yeah, it's maybe made of plastic or something.
Yeah. Seems like a very lore accurate explanation to me.
Okay, that's okay. I don't lose too much time to this.
Okay, they are actual boulders. With that, we can confirm it. Okay, GMP, what is your split?
2:22:42, so I'm 1 minute behind.
2:22:42, you said.
Yeah.
About 50 seconds behind
47.
in game time.
Calculate that correctly. 2:22:42. No, it's actually a minute 13. Yeah, calculate that. So no, 47. Yeah.
So this level can make or break estimate like that, I guess. See, I'm
So we're just hoping that the controls work properly.
okay. Okay, finally.
Now, hopefully, it's not going to be a spear. Okay, and you didn't get the thing where Boulder went over the button and simply did not press it.
This level is
We can
quite
just.
something.
Are you on 4-7? Yeah, of course you are.
Well, the last level was a roller coaster of emotions. I don't know about this one.
They're all horrible.
Yeah, I think saying roller coaster of emotions sounds too positive.
Roller coaster would mean there are some positive aspects of emotions, but I don't think we have positive aspects.
Runners are 2 hours and 26 minutes, and they're starting to slowly go insane. So whoever's commented that about half an hour ago, now you can see it.
Not sure why this shit is not working suddenly.
That's another candidate for Pop Runs 10.
Oh, Brunston, why is this shit not working?
So in this level, you do quite a lot of stuff, quite a lot of fighting. And then here, so it's actually funny, before the run, GMP messaged me and said, do you know how to... No! Well, I just failed.
By the way, guys, I have a placebo for the thing that
This game
Matt
is so
just
bad.
died in. Hope my
No,
placebo will be good.
I didn't even die to that though. Well, I died to that, but in not in the way you think.
Did you get the checkpoint?
Oh my god. Well, I lost like 30 seconds or something.
Basically, he landed on like at the very edge of the platform and basically like slipped and fell down.
Yeah, that's quite common. Like I have a placebo to avoid that. Let's see.
Placebo.
Yeah, so you land on the edge and you get an air step and you have to immediately move back. And in my practice runs, I just had a different cycle where the platform was already moving away from me when I jumped to it. So in my practice attempts, that never happened, but I now remember that that's a thing. I've just finished level 4-7. My time was 2:28:48.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a while before finishing.
And I was just explaining that before the run, GMP messaged me asking me if I know how to jump from that platform. Which is... It just shows how terrible this game is. We're two runners. and we're messaging each other asking how to do casual gameplay. It's awful. It's no wonder the 2 previous times this game has been shown at pop runs, both were overestimate. Granted, some of that was also just my fault for not practicing enough, but also this game is just really bad. But I think we can break that today. Even with all the awful things.
When is TFK hard mode?
I don't think that's possible.
I mean, couldn't you just take cheat engine, set the HP value to 1 and just...
Yeah, but I don't think you can finish the game.
Yes,
I definitely do. If you told me that, like, you know, if I did a TFK hard mode run, I would get like a new job for like 100K a year or something, then I'd be like, okay, fine, I'll do that. But otherwise, I don't think there's much you could do to make me do that.
All right.
I think 100K is a bit low, honestly.
Okay, we'll talk about the details after the run. We'll negotiate. It's kind of fun watching this from the back line, just like eating an apple and just watching this roller coaster of emotions.
You can die very easily in the upper sections here, but luckily there's a checkpoint anyway. Because also when you get to this point, all of a sudden the game starts lagging more just as you get to that spike. And so then you end up timing it wrong because it slows down all of a sudden.
Nice. I got that platform first try.
Nice.
This is like T2T jump panel or chain. The TFK equivalent of that.
And as a reminder, there will be a T2T mobile speedrun later tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
So what have we got? We've got Viniv next with Trilogy. Then I think it's Pop 3D, T2T Mobile, and TLC.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes. For some reason I had Pop 1 in mind instead of Pop 3D.
Oh, this game is fantastic.
Good thing this is the first and last run that I will do.
If I ever submit this to pop runs again, please reject it.
I'll just tell you that it's a bad idea. I'll remind you. Well, when it comes to this pop runs, it's too late to regret your ideas and decisions.
Well, this pop runs it's okay because at least I get to redeem myself and go underestimate for once. But then I never want to do it again.
Well, this is 4-9 then. So another boss.
Another boss fight. I hate this one. So you're like in this water, so you can't move quickly. I think I messed up.
Holy shit, it's snake.
Yeah, it's a rattlesnake.
Nice. I was half a health bar away from getting the one cycle, so I've got a whole ass cycle now.
So you depleted 4.5 skulls, I guess.
And what?
It took off 4.5 skulls basically, so there's 5.5 left.
Yeah, and then there are like 3 more phases after that. I have a feeling I'm gonna die though.
Oh, it just force interrupts that phase when you get to halfway HP.
Okay, 2 more phases. But the thing is, when you're walking, he spawns these portals kind of randomly, and it takes up 1 HP, 1 health bar rather. I'm not gonna get. Please, okay. I got the cycle. Okay, I can take 1 more damage. And he spawns them kind of randomly, and if he spawns one inside you, there's nothing you can do.
Snake is not being nice.
Okay, nice. He's dead.
Rest in piss, you won't be missed.
Okay. And we go to World 5, which is the last long world. Now Zhao has betrayed us or something.
Yeah.
This is level 5-1. So it's actually funny, when I was watching back the tasks, I'm going to repeat what GMP said. In this section of the game, because Zhao betrayed us, we're kind of supposed to be depressed, and that's why the game gives us cycles like this. It's like the game is just trying to make us depressed at this point. Look, you can't wall run up that. We're too low, and we get a cycle like that, and that's just this world in general. It's awful. As if we were already happy. It's now going out of its way to make us even more depressed.
Yeah, that was my theory.
So you're trying to tell me that the first 4 worlds were meant to be like less
Yeah.
depressed?
Yeah. I mean, I think they were, but the devs clearly weren't very successful. But here it's just on steroids.
More like forcing you to uninstall the game. They didn't succeed in the first 4 worlds, so they're going on all out on this one.
You can get that top enemy sometimes, but I don't really understand it, to be honest. Is that door gonna stay open long enough?
It's kind of tight if you don't get the top enemy.
Yeah, I have to do it again. But that's fine, at least the enemy's dead now.
Yeah.
So that's 5-1 done.
Yeah. We will come back to it, though.
Yeah, I see there's a 5-2-2 and 5-1-2.
Mm-hmm. So again, with the lovely cycles, we have to wait here forever.
So when you reach the end of 5-3, just remind me to give the lore update.
Sure.
Yo, lore?
Yeah, GMP is the lore expert.
Sure. I feel every run in pop runs needs to have a lore expert that explains all the important plot stuff.
Coming up is a ceiling clip, skips a bit of platforming. Normally in runs I don't go for it anymore because it barely saves any time and it's quite difficult, but I'll try to show it off for the marathon. It's a similar thing. Nice, I got it first try.
Good stuff.
You have to click very, very fast. You click once to wall run, and then move your mouse to the left and click again to jump. But you have to do all of that within just a few frames.
I've two done. These are two rather quick levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is cool. Everyone does this casually. Long fall grab. You just jump. This is what I mean. You can fall 100 meters and still grab a pole. But also, I don't even know.
That was the origin of long fall grab.
Yeah, that's how we discovered it, and I think every casual player discovered it here because I literally don't even know what the casual route is. Everyone just jumps there, and then you get a long fall grab. This is why I'm saying I don't think Ubisoft played this game, because there's no way they wouldn't have seen that.
Yeah. No QA basically.
Not even... I mean, even aside from QA, surely you don't need QA to test something like that. Even the developer should find things like that. Another long fall grab.
Oh damn, that one was long.
Yeah. As we said, there's no limit. And to get back down, it's not faster, at least I don't think, but just for style points, I'll do the long fall grab again.
Yo, style points, let's go.
The prince has very strong hands. Okay, I'm at the end of 5-3, so GMP, go ahead, do your lore update.
Yeah, so basically, the final boss of this game, the Fallen King, and Zal are the same person. And like he did some experiment with the corruption or something and got split into two personalities. So yeah, that's the lore of it.
I see on Smad's side that Ahriman is being mentioned.
Yeah, this is the 2K universe, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But kind of the ending of Epilogue doesn't like, kind of looks like, I don't know how to describe it. I also don't remember it like very well.
Elika just sort of goes away and leaves the prince. Elika goes to find her people or something, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a very kind of a, I don't know how to describe it, kind of an ending. Like there isn't really much going on.
I mean, it was clearly being set up for a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I just feel like, which then never happened.
Yeah, and at this point, never will. Although, who knows? I mean, maybe we'll get a sequel on like mobile phones or something. Some kind of a meme where, you know, not a AAA sequel. That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
or even like a book or something. I can see something like that happening.
Technically,
So that
since 2009, this year is the most attention that this game has gotten. From Ubisoft, I mean.
okay, so here I can skip a cycle by getting this fireball. No!
Oh.
Well, never mind. I'll eat then.
Yeah, that's what this game is for. You eat during it. Beautiful.
Long fall grab on my end as well.
Nice.
It's not like I know how to do it normally. Anyways.
Yeah. So, little strat coming up here. There's a platform right there that moves up. If I jump over it, I prevent it from moving up because it only moves up once I go over it. And we can get the perfect cycle by jumping over it initially and only coming back to it when we need it. Eat this enemy.
Second long fall.
So now if I swap back to the prince and run to the right, the platform starts moving exactly as I get on it because this wasn't like a cycle that I got exactly right. It's because this platform literally doesn't move until you step on it for the first time, which is why we want to avoid stepping on it initially when we don't want to go up yet.
Yeah.
I could damage boost through this, but I might not have enough health. So I played it safely.
Fair. Yeah, you're on like 1.5 HP, so it makes sense. Is the end of 5-4? Yeah.
This. If he goes to the side like that, as far as I know, that's RNG. Oh crap, I'm dodging him by accident. I don't want to dodge him. If he goes to the side, he gets stuck behind the barrier and we can't hit him, so we just have to wait for another cycle.
Also, I assume you're on level 5-5 now, right, Smelt?
Mm-hmm. And this one has some very tight health management. So here we die on purpose to get our health back. I think it also saves time to die in general, but also we really want our health back. And in general, in World 5, health management is very tight. So there'll be quite a few points where I'll die on purpose to gain my health back.
Yeah. But if you're in 5-5, that actually also saves time by spawning the boulders early.
So this next section, I'm sure it's possible to do without losing any health, but well, hey, I might just do it now. I think that's literally the first time I've ever done this without losing health. And the reason why it's so tricky is because, as I mentioned earlier, when you're controlling Zhao, when you start moving, there's literally like a 1 second delay between when you press the input and when he starts moving. Like, I don't know why they they did it like that.
Okay, it was at least nice time to test it for hard mode.
I didn't want to take damage here. That's annoying.
Also, assume the strat for those guys is that if you try to like avoid their attacks, they're gonna do it like a few times, like those.
Yeah. They would do the jump roll thing. Okay.
Oh.
We're gonna do that again.
Did it a few times, and then if you get hit, it's just, you know.
Yeah, it ends instantly. Yeah. Which is why, one reason why health management is so important. So these traps are actually difficult.
Like the rotating platforms?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here, I have to hold on the prints to activate my shield, but I have to hold on the platform to stop the platform from rotating. And there's a tiny section where I can hold my stylus where it counts as both, where I can both hold my shield and stop the rotating platform so that I can wait for the cycle. And I think that's just literally how you're supposed to do it, even casually.
They were not kidding when they were making this game.
Okay, so something really interesting coming up. We have to do levels 5-1 and 5-2 again, just because we have to pick up some gems or something. But notice we'll go to 5-2 first, and not 5-1. And the reason for that is because when we enter these levels for the second time, the game makes us take a different path, which is longer, and there's kind of a rock in our way to prevent us from taking the correct, to prevent us from going the original way, basically. You'll see it in just a second. So see, there's a rock right there to my right. But for this level, what they haven't tested is that if you die, the rock disappears. So we just continue normally.
Good stuff.
and there's a similar level. There's a similar rock in level 5-1, which we also need to do. But that one just doesn't appear if you do level 5-2 first. So that's why we do 5-2 first.
Beautiful.
And where I did the ceiling clip last time, I'm now gonna use Zhao's portal because I have that this time. And we call this the replay rock glitch.
Struggling with the rotating platforms.
Oh, that is rough.
So there's supposed to be a rock literally right here, but there just isn't one because we completed level 2 first. So we get to do this again.
Oh, not this cycle again. I remember you cleared 5-1 very quickly, so I assume you're gonna clear this one quickly.
Yeah, and if we went the intended way, it would be awful. There are some very difficult trap sections that take absolutely forever to do. And, like, there's some kind of door here. You see those red diamonds or whatever?
Yeah.
I literally don't know what that's for. We just don't need it. Maybe you need that door if you go the intended way.
Yeah, probably. That is the case.
So, GMP, what's your latest split time?
5-4 at 2:50:30.
Okay, my 5-4 is 2:47:58.
Yeah, I'm struggling quite a bit, but that's kind of expected in this world.
So now we're going to level 5-7, which might confuse Snake slightly because you might be like, well, what the hell happened to level 6?
I see any notes. I'm just like 5-7, 5-6. I'm just like, are you really doing 5-7 first, or is it just like this thing where I just like forget to write something, then I write the next level, and then I was like, yeah, I'll write the previous one after, like the next one on the list, just because.
So the way we defined the level names is we basically said whatever level is unlocked first comes first. And some of them branch out, and in cases where they branch out, we define the level that's further to the top left on the map as first.
Yeah, all right.
And in this case, level 5-7 is indeed unlocked after level 5-6, but level 5-6 we don't need to do until we've cleared all the other ones anyway. I die on purpose here to get my health back. Yeah, level 5-6. If we do level 5-6, we have to then backtrack on the world map to do levels 5-7, 5-1, and 5-2 anyway. So it's just more optimal in terms of world map navigation to do level 5-6 after all of those ones.
Fair. How far apart are the two of you right now?
We're at least 2 minutes apart in game time. I think in real time. Oh my god. Okay. In real time, probably a bit more than that.
And I assume the marathon's gonna use in-game time.
The real time.
Oh, well, we're using real time, I guess.
Okay.
Why did I go for that? I have to do all of that again. I should have been more patient. It's okay. So I should finish sub-estimate. GMP will be tight, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad to get that section out in first try.
The stupid cycle.
Okay.
That you can show the IGT if you want to have it at the end.
Health management is very important in these levels. Hang on. Because look, I've got 1 HP now. And optimally, you want to lose health because the fastest way to get rid of those exploding enemies is to ignore them. But if you ignore them, obviously they deal damage. Otherwise, you have to kind of shoot them away from you until they explode, which takes a lot of time. Yeah, we can tell you what the IGT is at the end of the run. So again, the exploding enemies at the bottom, we ignore. But if for every one of those that you ignore in these fights, you basically lose 1 health bar.
Our free and runners seem to be sane, I think.
Not really.
Okay, and for me, 2 more levels in World 5 and then 3 levels in World 6. These enemies are really annoying. You just kind of have to do this until they get knocked down. I really want to watch that Warrior Within run because obviously I was sleeping when that was happening, and everyone is talking about it so much. I want to know what I missed.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of fronts I wanted to catch from yesterday. I just couldn't. I only managed to watch a bit of the TFS run last night.
So far, I've caught most of the runs. The only ones I didn't catch are...
So far, you have commentated most of them.
So here we're supposed to teleport using the portals, but it's faster to just kill the enemy.
Matt also did 3 runs for this pop runs, I believe.
Yeah. Sands of Time with Yaka, 2K8 yesterday, and this.
Which is nuts. Doing 3 runs for the event is incredible.
I did only 2
I think
and feeling stressed, and both were bad.
I think for some I've done 4 as well. Oh, if you count the Dungeons and Dragons submissions in Pop Runs 4, I think I had 4 submissions. I did 2K8, Sands of Time, TFK, and Dungeons and Dragons. If you count individual games, Vinny has done 4, which, to be fair, isn't even, it's kind of fair.
Yeah.
Because you are running 3 separate games with separate mechanics. Sure, they're similar, but...
It's 3 quite a big categories that needs to be learned, so it's actually 3 for sure.
And 4 as well.
There's a long 40k here. Third. No. Okay. Third and to the right. So third one down, and then we jump off immediately.
Damn. Zol just decided to fall asleep.
I think there is a checkpoint right there, so it's not a big deal, but I've definitely done it in runs where I just jump off there and then I just die.
Yeah, Zal just goes, I
it's
don't
really
feel
annoying
like
because
it.
the fall is really long there as well, so it takes like 10 seconds just to fall to the ground and die. Okay, and the final level in this world, and then afterwards one more world with 3 levels. Okay, so very cool ceiling clip coming up. The GMP found. Right after we get with this boulder. Basically, we just move to the right and then jump, and that's it. We just...
Nice.
Don't ask me how that works. I can't tell you.
So you basically jump in the wrong direction, and the ceiling there is low enough that you basically, how can I say, like the ceiling there is low enough that a jump is enough to clip on that direction.
So here, there is a TK strat that we could use to TK way ahead of where we need to be. It would save maybe 20 to 30 seconds, but I tried it, and I know Tass does it, but I tried it and I couldn't get it once in maybe 10 attempts RTA, so probably more of a test strat. It's okay, the time loss isn't too bad anyway. You can one cycle these enemies, but it's RTA effectively dependent on luck. Technically not, but basically yes. Because you have to react to when the enemy starts falling down and immediately start attacking. Or you can count how many hits it takes, but I'm not going to do that. So these big purple guys, we kill by just spamming this combo. Just keep that in mind. They're really easy to kill. We kill them by spamming left click.
Very complicated.
I nearly got it in one cycle that time. I was just missing one hit, and even that final hit, I did the final hit, and he went up just as I did the final hit. So again, these purple guys, just spam left click. Just keep that in mind. That's the end of World 5. Now, Zhao and the Prince will merge into one for some reason. So now we will have both the Prince's acrobatic abilities and Zhao's magic powers.
And there is pretty much only 3 levels left now.
Remember what I said about the purple guys? Yeah, so this... I'm supposed to be this really insanely powerful character now, but actually now I actually have to pay attention to fighting these enemies because spamming the same combo doesn't work anymore. Because he does like a backflip. Like I can show this off. So look, if I keep doing it, he does a stupid backflip and then I take damage. So instead, what I do is I do 2 attacks. The third one is where he does the backflip. And then I block to stop the combo. And then I wait for an attack. And I repeat. GMP might point out that that's not the most efficient way to kill them. It's more efficient to do only the first combo. Sorry, the first hit in the combo.
Yeah,
and repeat that.
More consistent as well.
But I found the opposite for me. RTA, I find it easier to do 2 attacks per combo. But TAS does 1. But yeah, it might be just another one of those things that we'll do differently.
How the soul blades just like disappear from the screen?
Don't question it, mate.
I gave up on questioning anything.
They just didn't bother animating a reason for why they would appear or disappear. Top tip if you're playing this even casually, when you land on these platforms, hold the magic button. It's to prevent that from happening, but that time it didn't work. He died anyway. Cool.
Oh god.
Yeah, when you let go of magic, it still persists if you got unlucky. But
I think it at some point doesn't. Maybe I let go too soon.
Or maybe you started holding magic too early. One of those 2 things.
I didn't know that was a thing. I thought I was already doing as early as possible. But anyway.
Okay.
Good game, by the way. You literally don't press anything, and he just falls to death. I think actually one of the top comments on it might be GMP's TAS is it's just some person who's played the game, and they said there's no way you can do that section without the prince falling to death. You're cheating.
That's wrong.
Yeah. They were convinced that I spliced the task.
I mean, the TAS is kind of spliced, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in some ways, like, let's take Warrior Within Task, for example. In a segmented run, you can get the best RNG for portals, but in tasks, it's more difficult. Like, you have to control the RNG and stuff.
Okay, 6-2.
So here, if you get the wrong cycle, and I don't know what the correct cycle is, and it's impossible to at least from a casual player's perspective, it's impossible to know in advance. But that boulder there kills you if you get the wrong cycle.
Boulder shenanigans again?
So this is the final level before the final boss. So this is the final non-boss level, which is 6-2. We don't really have any too many strats here. We just kind of fight the enemies, do some platforming.
Yeah, I guess the point of the game in the World 6 is to show, oh yeah, now you're the super cool OP guy.
That's worse than the original one.
And Jimby seems to be on the final level of World 5 right now.
Yeah. I got the reverse jump ceiling clip just now.
Nice.
Took a little bit, but it's fine. Still much faster than the casual section.
Here we do a long fall snatch, which is we just ignore all of those and only save ourselves on the final one, of which there are 4. Even after the enemy is dead, I still have to press block, because otherwise he will do a backflip. Look, I'll show you. Look. I didn't press anything that time after the enemy died. I think I'm gonna die. Yeah, that's fine. There was a checkpoint.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm gonna wait for it to fall. I'm gonna wait for this one to fall. And then last fight before the final boss.
Same deal with those purple enemies.
Okay, and to the final boss. So, time is coming up in about 1.5 minutes. Possibly even 1 minute.
Any strats for this boss?
Not really, you just do it casually. So there should be 3 phases. And you can do each one. Okay. I might not get it in one cycle now. Okay. Here I am doing the backflip movement because it's impossible to block when the boss is stunned anyway, so it's just easier for me. But it's not... There is a faster way to do it by kind of spamming a single combo over and over again, but I find it easier to... Ah, crap, I missed a cycle.
Oh.
We had one World 6 apart, I guess.
What's your 5-8 time?
3:16 of it.
Okay, I'm 309.
Yeah.
Okay. One more face.
Yeah, he starts kind of lifting us up. We snatch ourselves. So get ready on time in about 10 seconds. Or so when the health goes to 0, that will be it. And time.
GG.
Easy.
Also,
319.48.
Oh, I forgot. Oh,
credits.
I messed up real bad.
I did an underestimate run of this game. Insane.
Congrats.
I think I killed estimate just now.
You're on 6-2, right?
6-1.
Okay.
At Pop Run 6, my estimate was 320. So it's nice to know that this run would have also been underestimate. Or just on the dot. If it's on the dot, I would consider that underestimate, because if you're 1 second overestimate, that's not a bad thing. That means you've estimated perfectly. But yeah, it's nice to know that despite the soft lock, that would have still been
Uh,
within the estimate.
Yeah, it would have been way better.
I did a really, really dumb mistake, and I'm paying really big price for it right now.
Yeah, so you can see GMP is using a different strat to fight these enemies. So I was doing 2 hits per combo, but GMP is doing 1. And when you do just 1 hit, then you don't even have to do the block strat. You can just hit, stop, hit, stop, hit, stop. Whereas when I'm doing 2, the third one gets buffered, so I have to block to stop the third one, which is the backflip, from being done. I mean, it's really cool that this character can do a backflip, but it's just not efficient in a fight.
Yeah. Because you will get hit. You can stun lock the enemy like normal Prince can.
The lore is that we merged with Zal, which was our companion the whole time. So I think we're looking to be maybe 3 or 4 minutes overestimate with GMP.
Yeah. If I didn't
Just for
die at the start of 6-1 two times, then maybe we die. I'm considering just stopping the run,
what
cutting to the
is
next run.
is this 3-2?
6-2, 6-1.
I mean 6. Oh, is it still 6-1? Oh, okay. Then maybe more like 5 minutes overestimate.
Yeah, it crashed. So I guess it's a good
Ha!
time to cut the run.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That crash happens on console as well, by the way. That's not exclusive to the emulator.
yeah.
Why does that crash happen?
If you hit the enemy and get hit or like die at the same time as hitting the enemy or something, specifically there, you can crash.
Yeah,
And you clicked
in
français.
French.
Continuer.
I mean, we can cut the run basically. Like I want to finish the run just to have a run on leaderboard, but I think it's better to cut to the next run.
Are you recording locally?
Yeah, like if any Argas there, then I can basically say the final remarks and cut to the next run because we are already behind on estimate. Like I would be more comfortable with that.
Apparently, the next run is not ready yet anyway, so just keep going for now.
Okay, if I don't die, yeah.
And also, I'm happy because I'm commentating for the next run, and I'm happy to get more time to eat.
Oh, you're also commentating the next run.
Mhm.
And half the commentary is you in like the whole event.
I'm excited though because that's an actual good like run, the trilogy.
Yes.
It's a cool run, cool strats, competent runner.
So
Yeah,
basically cut to the next run when setup is ready. But
Is this 6-2?
not 6-1 still.
it's weird tragic. He
Wait,
crashed on like the last fight of 6-1.
did I finish 6-1?
No, you were on like the last fight of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, now I remember.
So both of us, you crashed, and I soft locked. This food is disgusting because it's cold, but I'm eating it anyway.
Oh god, that does not sound like fun.
I think I'm going to die. Yeah.
No.
Checkpoint isn't too far away though.
I'm eating some rice with a bunch of things. There's some kind of meat, some veggies, some kind of sauce.
I have some good stuff waiting for me once this run is done. So GMP, are you going to run this again once this marathon run is over? Because you said you want to have a run on boards, but I'm like, I didn't hear you. Do you want like to have a run to compare against, or just like you want to submit it on boards because you have a chance?
No, I was just saying I will finish this run, but we don't necessarily need to show that on the screen. We can cut to the next game because it's already delayed.
Oh, all right. Now I get you. I thought you already have done a run on this game, like an RTA run.
No, not really.
So just for the organizers, because GMP crashed, we're looking at another 5 minutes from this point, basically, because
I mean,
he crashed here.
if the next run is ready, then we can cut.
Yeah, just letting the organizers know so that they're aware of the timeline. Yeah, I think you have time to finish it.
I mean, I would prefer if it got cut.
Nice jump there.
The game is not cooperating.
And now there's basically a random chance you get killed by that boulder. Oh my god, you just about missed it. Yeah, at Pop Run 6, I think I was like 25 minutes overestimate with this game.
Oh. Pop Run 6, I do not remember that for some reason. I'm pretty sure I ran at Pop Run 6.
At Pop Run 6, I did not practice this game at all. In fact, I opened up, I installed the emulator for the first time like 5 minutes before the run started. And obviously that's my fault. But also the reason why it kind of ended up that way is because I ended up taking much longer than expected to practice my blindfolded run, because that was also Pop Run 6. And so as a result, my other runs would just suffered horribly. But I'm very happy with the blindfolded run, and I think people liked it.
Yeah, that was really good.
But yeah, the other runs definitely suffered because all of my time was taken up by that.
Yeah, I do remember that run, and I think that was the only time someone did a blindfolded run for Prince of Persia. I don't remember there being any other instances.
Yeah. I know something was coming there.
The boulder.
So funny story about my blindfolded run as well. For the past couple of years, I'd been working in a gaming arcade. And when I applied for that job, one of the requirements was that you have to be very familiar with games. And in my application, I basically said, like, I can play games with my eyes closed. Here's a video. Is that good enough? And they really liked it, and I got the job. So that blindfolded run literally got me a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Going to wait here. That was quite something.
Damn. That boulder head was close.
Is the next run ready?
Yeah, I did Windmills IL blindfolded. Pop run 6. And Sam was commentating.
Okay, final boss.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that sucks.
That happened to me with the World 4 boss. At least we've got some lovely main menu music from my end to entertain us.
Bring out the cat if he's around.
Oh, what happened? Oh, right, there was...
Oh, I kind of forgot what to do.
I messed that one up as well. Do you know what to do for the final phase?
I mean, yeah, but for some reason the slash doesn't work sometimes.
For you or for the boss?
For me,
Interesting.
Seems to be fine now.
Do you do it after you start flying?
yeah.
You need to click closer to the prince in order to not roll.
Okay.
Closer and higher.
Yeah. Okay, at least it starts from this
Oh.
place.
Yeah. Luckily. Yeah, that worked.
First try. At least.
Okay, last phase. I think this is almost done.
Yeah, so get ready on time. When the health goes to 0.
Time.
GG.
GG.
What's the IGT?
Yeah, 3:35:19. Oh, nice. Game crashed.
Crashed.
Fitting and